Halito, everybody, welcome back. This is CT over at the Native Reality, and today we're going to be talking about Match Me Abroad, TLC's new show. This is going to be brought to you from a mixed urban Native American perspective, a secular perspective, so let's dive right on in. So did you guys see the episode last night? I know this is a new show, and it's starting off a little bit more slowly than what we're used to, but, we got to get to know the couples, or not the couples, but the singles, and it's almost like couples in a way because, the dynamic is more between the person being matched or the matchee. I just made that up. I don't know if that's a word, and the matchmaker, right? So we got to see how they kind of get along and how well the matchmaker understands what the matchee wants and, how much they can impress upon them that maybe they need to cut some things off of their list. So this is a very different a dynamic. Now, the only matchmaking shows that we've seen throughout the years that I remember were obviously Millionaire Matchmaker with Patty Stanger. She was a mess, honey. She was an absolute mess. She was so mean. And then the other one was what's it called? Matching Atlanta or something like that, and that one was actually kind of interesting. There's so many like reality shows that come out of Atlanta, but I remember that one of the matchmakers on there, because she had a YouTube channel, and I don't know how I just happened to come across her, and she would have singles sit down at her table and like almost like an interview at a radio station, and she would be talking to the singles like in front of the camera, and it's called middle class matchmaker. So just go check her out if you're interested in matchmaking and like how people do it. She does it for people that are not like very high on the salary end of things, so she makes it more economical for people. Interesting. So these matchmakers, I do not believe are middle class matchmakers. I think they're very high end matchmakers. So we start off the episode with our first one is Susan. Is that her name? Yes, Susan. So Susan. Oh, hi, Barbara. Thank you for coming back. Oh, so you watched it, Barbara. So I mean, I don't know. What do you think about this new show? I think this is interesting. I just hope that my concern with like some of these new shows is that, because they start off a little bit on the slower side, that they won't get picked up as fast. They don't get as much of an audience. But shows like these need a little bit of time to simmer, right? Because it's not like 90 Day Fiance where they're being thrown into these situations where they've already been talking for 2 years and we're just like, taking a front row seat to the craziness. This is the build up to the craziness, right? So this is like 90 Day Fiance, the other way meets, Millionaire Matchmaker, something like that. So yeah, it's getting better. It's getting better, but I hope everybody sticks around for it because I've been enjoying it so far. So Susan, our girl Susan, is from New York. She's 52 or 53, something like that. And she is now arrived in Colombia, and she's there to meet Juan, and Juan is her matchmaker. And Juan is like a take no prisoners kind of type, right? He's like very like, if you want to be in love, this is what you have to do. Like Juan is like, he's like a play no games kind of Colombian dude, right? So I like him. I think he might be able to get her together a little bit, and I hope he understands at the same time like what she wants. And it's hard when you're at a certain age, because then you can become even more picky, and then you're at a certain income bracket, so then you got to really have somebody who's matching you or better, I would say a lot of women want that, and she's definitely from the demographic that would definitely want that, right? I don't see her dating the bus driver. That's like a big controversy now on the internet. So anyway, so she's telling, Juan about what she wants, and she has a really long list. And Juan is like, that's kind of a lot. You can't be clutching onto all of those things because it's going to be very hard to find someone. And he was like, okay, but and she's like, well, I don't think I should, compromise, but you got a little bit, okay? You're not going to a unicorn factory. He's a matchmaker, right? He doesn't have a magic wand. So he arranges a date for her to meet up with some guy named Miguel. So we'll talk about their date a little bit later. So next we meet Natalie, and Natalie is, now this is refreshing. This is what I talk about, diversity and stuff like that. This is great. So Natalie is now, I believe she said she's Sri Lankan, right? If I'm incorrect, please put that in the chat or in the comment section. I believe she's Sri Lankan, American though. Her mom is from their home country, but she was raised in the States. And beautiful girl, young girl, comes from a very seemingly very common arranged marriage culture. Her mom is actively and presently looking for a new partner or looking for a potential husband for her. And her mother is not stopping, right? So she tells her mom that she is going to, look at this matchmaker and see what he can find for her. Now, apparently she went to Colombia briefly at some point or whatever when she was younger. Now, this girl is obviously very educated. She seems affluent, financially, like she seems to be doing okay. And she wants to find her match, and she seems as though she really. Oh, hi, Susan. Thanks for coming back. Yes, Sri Lanka. Okay, thank you, Barbara. Because for a second I was like, I know. I was like, it's not Bangladesh, right? Sri Lanka. Because I remember her saying like something about her, they'll send me back to the island or something. Sri Lanka is an island. But anyway, so I don't know a lot about Sri Lankan culture, and this is always a good opportunity to learn about how love and marriages and, getting to that point happens in other cultures, especially if we're in our little American bubble, it can be like that. So I think that's going to be really good to learn some new stuff. So, I was so pleased to see her on there. And what pleased me even more is that, she's not looking for the Sri Lankan guy. I'm just saying, I'm not saying who she should date. I just find it fascinating that the Sri Lankan girl is looking for a Latin guy. This is not a typical coupling that we see, right? So I'm like, how is this going to work, especially with her family and in terms of religion? I don't know what her religion is. If they are religious, they may be secular like me, who knows? But if she meets a guy from Colombia, is he going to be Catholic? More than likely, at least culturally Catholic, I would assume. But, he could be some other denomination of Christianity or whatever. It's just, we'll see. We'll see. I have a lot of questions. I want more background. What's the dad thinking about this? So she is going to be hooking up with Juan, who is also Susan's matchmaker over in Colombia. And he seems a little bit more excited to have her, right? He's like, with Susan, he's like, oh God. I know he's like, this woman, she's gonna be too much. Too fucking much. She's got a list this long. So I can't wait for next week to see with her. This was like a new little surprise for me. So I was really, really happy to see Natalie. So next we have Harold. So Harold gets off the plane. He arrives in Prague, and Catalina is there to welcome him. And she's taking one look at what he's wearing, and she was calling his suspenders something. She was calling them like handles, or I don't know, it was some kind of word that I've never heard for suspenders. Maybe it's like a British thing or something like that, because they get a lot of their English from England. So anyway, and she's just looking at him. She's like, okay, I'm going to have my work cut out for me. And she's over there basically sizing him up for the impending makeover that she's going to have to do for him. Harold, the thing is, now listen, as someone from the beauty industry, I just really do wish that, maybe wardrobe or somebody like TLC, y'all don't have it in the budget to help him out with a decent hairpiece, because that hairpiece is pretty obvious. And you can do hair pieces where you can still cut the hair down close on the sides and stuff like that. Men's hair pieces can look amazing nowadays. That just screams hair piece, right? But I understand he's on the spectrum. He has certain, challenges. So that's why I'm saying that's why the glam team, that should be all budgeted in, okay? Don't be saying, okay, we're just going to pay for that flight to Prague and then that's it. You're on your own, Harold. He needs help. He definitely needs help. But I'm very looking forward to Harold's makeover. Now, okay, hold on. This is a little sidebar. So, do you guys remember, and I know this is so bad. I know it's so bad. They took these shows off TV for a reason. But do you guys remember Extreme Makeover and the other one, The Swan? Oh my God, that shit was so funny. They would take people whose teeth were like growing this direction, and they had like one eye going that way, and they had like three strands of hair left, and they would put them in that little machine, and they would give them boob implants and pec implants and calf implants, and they would come out looking like totally different people. I mean, it was so funny. It was so funny. So I was like, oh, and braces. You think he needs braces? I didn't even take a look at that. You know what? That's funny. I didn't even notice that. If I didn't notice it, then I probably thought it was like a level where he could get away with it. I just couldn't stop staring at that hair. The hair and those suspenders and those shirts and stuff like that. I was like, oh my God. But you know what? That's Eastern Europe. He could probably get away with his smile over there. I'm sure they'll be okay. It's not like his teeth are like Osama over a 90 Day Fiance. See, y'all are wrong. Y'all are wrong. See, that wasn't me this time. That was not me. Okay, that was Barbara and Susan in the chat being messy. Anyway, oh my God. So, oh, braces as a suspender. That's right. That was the word. Oh my God, that's right. Oh, I thought you guys were talking about his teeth. I was like, I didn't really notice that. Yes, thank you. Yes, those braces, right. That was the word she was using for his suspenders. Oh my God. You guys are too funny. You got me all confused this morning. But anyway, he was taking all his little glam shots right in front of the airport with all these different, little flower shirts and stuff on. And I am all for a good Aloha shirt. Let me tell you something. It doesn't mean that you can't do that. There are some very attractive Aloha shirts. And especially if you go to places like in Oahu and Hawaii, like on the like the busy island, they have Macy's and stuff over there, and they have, and I don't even mean like that Bahama Jacks or whatever, nothing like nice, beautiful. So we don't have to completely change it, but we can tweak it. You know what I mean? He definitely needs a makeover. So I am so looking. I love a good makeover. I'm sorry, I can't help it. I'm just petty like that. So I cannot wait to see that. Harold's teeth are great. I love his freakma smile. Yeah, I thought he looks good. At least he didn't have high waters on. See, y'all are dragging this morning. Y'all are dragging this morning. Oh my God. I know. It was bad. It was so bad. So Miss Katerina knows she has her work completely cut out for herself. And she's probably budgeted it in, like, okay, either you're going to pay with your credit card, like at the, the local, Macy's version, whatever that is over in Prague. We're going to take you and, get you some decent clothes. But yeah, somebody's got to do that hair. And I know somebody over there can do his hair, because like the hair piece game is like international and they can do really good jobs. So I wonder if she's going to take that out of his fee. She probably just charge him a whole bunch of money up front to make sure that all the expenses were covered. So anyway, so then one thing that she said to him when she got in the van with him, and you can tell she's feeling kind of protective over him, but she is kind of straightforward. And I like that. This is a New Yorker me. I kind of like that, right? So no playing games. So, she's like, what about your height? She's like, oh, because you look like you're taller than, or you look like you're shorter than that. And she's like, these clients are always lying about their height. And I was like, oh yeah, men do that. They definitely do that. So now we go over to Stanika. Oh my God, I love Stanika. Stanika from Mississippi. Oh, country girl. She is just as country as she wants to be. So she is officially in Morocco. She's met up with Nina, and Nina's got on her little fashions. Her little belt shows in her little waist. I like Nina's fashions. And, Nina's like, okay, are you ready? I have somebody for you to meet, and the date will be tonight. And she's like, you're coming with me, right? And she was like, I hadn't planned on it, but I think with Stanika, I think Stanika should have, first of all, not expected that, but number two, if she did, like, talk about that prior. But I think, the thing is that Nina is like, wow, this woman has never had a relationship. And that, excuse me, maybe perhaps like in, a country like Morocco, she probably has had some clients that have, well, actually, let me not make that assumption, because she seemed to be so surprised. But that Stanika had never been in a relationship before. And, some of those like religious countries and stuff like that, a lot of times people will not date, what what's his name, Mahmoud on 90 Day Fiance the other way. Never dated. I mean, some places they just don't date. They just boom, they just get married. So I thought that maybe she would be used to maybe setting up people who don't have dating experience. But maybe what it is that she's so surprised because she's American and never had a boyfriend, because her matchmaker Nina, she's from Jersey, right? She's Palestinian, but she's from Jersey, so she knows what American dating is like. So I think it's going to be really, really interesting. But yeah, I mean, Stanika, like, she seems like she has all this confidence and stuff like that, but she still really is like, it seems like she's like still like a scared kind of girl inside. And I think in her mind, she probably thinks that she's still so big when she's actually not. And, we saw her like in the daylight, and she's beautiful face, no makeup. I would the wig. I would fix that, because again, we're not gonna drag Harold's wig and not talk about Stanika. Well, that wig could have, it could have, done with a little bit of, natural hairline or something like that. So Nina agrees to go on the date with her, but I think Nina needs to be like clear about this. Like, listen, this is not how it typically works. I'll get you through the first date, but after that, you're gonna have to, figure it out. And Nina said, I'm not used to doing that. I don't go on dates with my clients. Now, I understand that there is a language barrier, but it seems like Nina is setting her up with people who obviously speak English. Stanika's a little country, so she doesn't speak Arabic. So, I mean, we gotta be realistic here. So we'll see what happens. Susan, yes, the baggage guy. So her date is tonight, and once Nina agrees to go on the date with her, Stanika's like, okay, that's it. Let's go. Let's do it. Now, I was noticing when they were walking down the street, she was wearing something really long, but she still had on like short shorts under the long thing, like a long kind of, I don't know what you would call that, like a cover up kind of thing. And I was like, so how does that work with the clothes? And because, are they in a region where she can wear that, and like what's going to happen? Because like we saw the upcoming episode or clips from for next week's episode. So there's another guy that we're going to be seeing. Now he's an American guy, and he's going to be going to Morocco to meet somebody. And we just saw in the clip how, the matchmaker was like, okay, no hand holding. He's like, no hand. She's like, it's the law. So, I don't know if it's in certain areas or if the laws are pretty broad, because I was just surprised to see her wearing her shorts, because even though with the cover up on, you could still tell she had on short shorts, right? So, and I don't mean inappropriate shorts, but maybe over there, I don't know if you can get away with that. So I'm wondering if, what's her name, Nina, the matchmaker, is going to have to sit her down and have like a conversation with her about what she can and can't wear. So I think that Nina needs to probably be a little bit more clear so that there is not an international incident. We do not want to have to get Biden involved in getting some woman out of prison because she's wearing the wrong clothing in the wrong country. So, and it seems like Stanika is very open to being mindful of, not having any issues in terms of wardrobe, like we're seeing with, Nicole on 90 Day Fiance the other way. But this is interesting. I just wish people would do more research and more homework when they go to these places. I'm just, Stanika, her head's in the clouds. She just, she had a friend who fell in love with a Moroccan guy, and they have a good relationship. So she's like, that's it. I want a Moroccan guy. And I can understand that, but you still got to. So then the next thing is, okay, you research Moroccan culture, Moroccan wife, Moroccan, expectations in marriage, religion and things like that. So, I mean, now she seems like she's willing to convert. Because when she was having that conversation with her family last week, and they were talking about, the differences in culture and stuff like that, she's like, well, I mean, we'll see what happens. I'm open. So I think for the right person, she would probably change her religion. And which, maybe she's not very religious to begin with, Maybe she's not. I mean, it's kind of rare to be from the South and not be, but she just might be. So that's something else I want to know. So, yeah. So now we're going to finish off with Susan. So Susan, she meets up with her, what was his name that she went out with? His name was Miguel. So the date was so awkward. So when she first met him, she sat down. Or she was sitting down and he introduced himself, her body language was kind of like, okay, let's let's keep it cute, keep the distance, okay? And when she looked at him, when that camera was just like looking at her, I thought to myself in that immediate moment, oh, she does not like him. She does not like him. Now, Juan told us, her matchmaker, that he found this match for her and that he literally has everything on her list. Therefore, if she doesn't like him, then, this is going to let him know, like, really how serious she is, or, whatever. He's like saying this might be some sort of test. Now, I do wonder if Juan is maybe she needs someone to put her, in reality. But there, of course, again, there always has to be balance. I don't want him to be too rigid where he just like, look, if you don't do it this my way, then you're never going to get married. I don't, I don't want to, and I'm seeing just a little bit of that from Juan. But maybe she's just so over the top and we haven't seen all of that yet that he's always having to put her in her place. I don't know. I'm not sure. But, I'm thinking to myself when he said that, I was like, well, just because she doesn't match with him, if they go on this date and it doesn't work out, doesn't mean like she's, whatever. I mean, maybe there just is no chemistry. So when they sat down, I thought, oh, there's definitely no chemistry. But then she says on camera, oh, he's so handsome. He's just so handsome. And I was like, he is? Really? Like, are we looking at the same guy? Beauty is in the eye, right? So, and then first sentence, he was talking about something like that had nothing to do with anything. And then he's cutting her off. And then she tries to not even interject. She just tries to talk. I mean, it's a conversation. It's supposed to be a flow back and forth. As soon as she tries to respond, he cuts her off. And then she's talking and then he cuts her off. Now, it could be cultural. I don't know. And I don't think that that's a good thing. But I noticed, like when I left New York, I remember I used to complain to my friends because we would be talking, we're a bunch of hairstylists. We're talking. We're always excited and, talking about different stuff and stuff like that. And we were all from all these different ethnic backgrounds and stuff. So, conversations used to get really heated and excited and stuff like that. So, and no matter what we were talking about, if we were talking about something really, controversial or talking about something as calm as like, the omelet, how I made my omelet this morning, people were constantly cutting each other off. And I noticed that sentences very rarely got completed. And I said to myself, I used to say to them, like, come on, let me finish talking. You guys are cutting me off. Like, and you guys are bouncing from one topic to another. Can we just like finish and maybe talk about this for a second? But it was like bing, 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 bing. So some people are like that. And I know there's a lot of that in New York. And her as a New Yorker, I don't know if she experienced a lot of that and is tired of that. Or maybe he's like in that. And also too, I mean, it's not just a New York thing anymore. We live in a fast paced, society and stuff like that. I saw that outfit in Morocco. That's what I said, Barbara. That's what I'm saying about those shorts that Stanika was wearing. But, I kind of feel like, because nowadays, like even my videos are very rarely, I mean, a really short video for me will be 25 minutes. My videos typically go on 30, 40 minutes. Sometimes they go over an hour. I talk because I'm turning on the camera and I'm keeping you company, right? You're keeping me company, right? So, I mean, it's just kind of like just an ebb and a flow. And, I go back and forth, look at the chat and see what you guys are talking about and stuff like that. And you go back and forth. But I think nowadays, like we see with this whole advent of like TikTok and like, the attention, the ever growing, or the ever shrinking attention span of Americans, right? It's so small. Because now we're even consuming videos in these really short fragments. So I feel like the way that he was cutting her off and stuff like that, I used to get frustrated with people that did that too. And I know if I was on a date and somebody was cutting me off all the time like that, especially because I'm up to here with like always, not being able to finish a sentence, then that's definitely going to be a huge turn off for me. And I was with her on this point. Now, I will say that if he didn't do that and he did let her complete her sentences, did allow her to complete her thoughts, I think she probably still would have found something wrong with him. I really do. I think she's ultra, ultra picky, but that was just a turn off. And then she's like, So then she's like, yeah. So when the waiter comes by, she's like, yeah, I'll just get like just a little something, a little calamari, just a little, some mozzarella sticks, something small. And he's like, yeah, I'm gonna take the steak. I want the mashed potatoes on the side. Don't forget the plantains. I want, like he was ordering this full thing, and you could tell that he was just not. It was just not. He wasn't even cognizant that he was not opening, he wasn't allowing an open space for her to enter. He's just going forward, right? And instead of there being a dance, you come forward, I go back, back and forth like that, like that. It was just him doing like this. And it was too much. I was very turned off by that too. So she's in the bathroom like, oh my God, I just wanted some breadsticks. I mean, and this guy wants a freaking steak and he orders a 6-course meal. That was funny. I'm not gonna lie, that was funny. I thought she was gonna get on the phone and call Juan and be like, I can't do this. I can't do it. But she's like, all right, let me push through this. I paid all this money. Let me, go ahead and sit back down at the table. And it was kind of like, it was a very hard scene to watch. So at the end, I respected the fact that she told him that she just wasn't feeling the romantic connection. Sometimes you have to be honest like that. I went on a date like that once before I was married, obviously. And the guy was like, he was nice. He was such a nice guy. But let me tell you something. Sometimes you just know. And I knew within seconds. So I just had to be like, and he sent a text. He said, oh, it was very nice meeting you. Like he wanted to, go on another date. And he came from a very polite society, very polite culture. And, and I didn't want to be rude, but I didn't want to do this, saving face kind of. I just was like, it's very nice meeting you as well. But however, I feel as though that there was just no connection. Right. And I think that's a soft way of kind of landing kind of a hard blow. But, you don't want to waste each other's time. Right. So I did respect that. And, listen, sometimes you gotta call a spade without being disrespectful. And he took it as oh, well, there's still hope, maybe we can get to know each other. And that's probably because he's so used to rejection. And I think with guys who are more used to rejection, because typically they're the pursuers, sometimes people, as the kids say, they spin the block, they come back around in a circle, and next thing you know, somebody you met, 10 years ago, now you're all of a sudden you're dating, your values align, you're in the same stage or whatever. So yeah, he was into himself, Barbara. I agree with him. He just was like talking about his watch and this and this and that. I just don't recall him asking her anything like, oh, so you're from New York? The only inquiry, I don't even know if it was inquiry, when they were talking about their professions. And that's when he started cutting her off right then and there. And I said, no, you're too old to be doing that. Now, if anything, if Juan is like a good matchmaker, he should sit him down and be like, okay, this is the learning lesson here. Let people talk, right? Give them some space to talk. People want to, how can they even hear about, or even maybe she does want to hear more about you, but maybe if you're not even giving her a chance to ask the question, you're constantly talking, give her a chance. So that didn't turn out very well. So we'll see who he has for her next, but I think he's going to probably try and go off on her because she didn't like him. I don't think that he necessarily fit everything on the list, but Juan thinks he does. So we'll see. But that should be interesting. But, this is a short review, guys, because it is a relatively new show. We don't have that many people, but I'm really looking forward next week to Stanika's, her date with the guy with the suit and the flowers. I'm looking forward to our new Natalie, and I definitely want to see what's going to go on with Harold, because Harold's going on a date. Okay, Katerina is not wasting any time. We see him, on that little boat in the little lake or whatever, and we'll see. It's going to be hard with Harold. That's going to be hard. And those women are going to be very straightforward, right? He wants straightforward. Well, honey, you have officially landed in ground zero of straightforward, Eastern Europe. They will tell you just what the fuck they are thinking. Anyway, that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you so much for you guys that joined me in the chat. You guys have me cracking up, okay? So we'll see next week. We're gonna be on the new Harold. Harold needs a new hairpiece outlook, okay, or lookout, I should say. We'll see if he gets something else to put on that head. I'm sure they have good glue over there. I know they got good glue and good tapes. So if you guys are enjoying the video, please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe and share it with your friends if you like it. And take care of yourselves and stay safe. And I'll see you on Thursday for Married at First Sight. Take care. Chipi Salacho.